All right, so I think I figured it out. Or at least I think I remembered what I was going to say. Stimulate. So what we were saying is, if they, or if we, or if, whatever, if we stimulate our physical existence so much, then the non-physical part of us, the non-physical part of this everything, becomes unnoticeable. It becomes forgotten, lost, disconnected, interfered with, all of these things. Harder to align with. Then you throw it in reverse and go, so if we begin to stop overstimulating the physical side of our existence, the physical side of ourselves, or if we stop overindulging into these physical existences, man, sometimes people look like they're just not going to stop at a stop sign, and it's like crazy. Be like, you better stop, mother. But anyways, if we begin to stop overstimulating ourselves with this physical existence, like, can you imagine if you went back in time and showed somebody, like, high definition? They're like, they would be sucked in. That's stimulation all the way. Like, even me looking at myself in the mirror image of this phone while the video is if we stop overstimulating ourselves, then you can go down the list of negatives and turn them into positives. So the non-physical side of us, whether you want to call it God, soul, or spirit, or higher selves, this side of us becomes more noticeable. We start to see miracles. That sounded crunchy. Hoping that was ice. Yep, that was ice. That's how you get the ice off your tire. You go up a sidewalk. If we stop stimulating, which is a weird word, it's like, if we stop just giving into the excessive abundance of physical distractions. There's like this crazy amount of physical distractions. Like bing, bing, bing. Like I could turn on the radio all of a sudden. It sounded like they had sports going. I'm like, sports? Distractions. You see what I'm saying? Like second to second to second. Physical world. We are sucked in to these distractions. And the non-physical side of us, the spirit, soul, God, higher consciousness, higher selves, the Tao. I kind of like to call whatever it is the Tao, because that's just another one of those things that can't be described with words. It just is the way it is. We start to connect with that. Once we stop, giving in to this physical side of us, the non-physical side of us, this God, this Tao, becomes more noticeable. It becomes remembered. It becomes found instead of lost, like we've found something great. We become more connected with that which most people call BS, which most people say, it's easy, it's easy for you to say, that's, whatever, keep whatever floats your boat kind of thing. It's like, you guys aren't getting it. Like, once we, I don't know. It was just super profound when this thought came to me this morning. And I don't take the credit. I was listening to a podcast, but you can listen to 2 hours, 4 hours, how many ever hours worth of podcasts, and when one thought sticks out to you, I'm like, I don't know if anybody else. And it's just like a random sentence. It's not even the topic. The guy on the show was a guest, and he just randomly was like, they stimulate the physical experience so much that the non-physical becomes unnoticeable. And he kind of worded it differently. I think he said spirit or, but I'm just trying to be like general here, non-physical and physical rather than like body and soul or different things. Becomes unnoticeable. So if we start to at least and this is why meditation is I think meditation is the wrong word, or back in the 60s till now, they gave meditation, the word meditation, some kind of stigma to where when you hear it, you kind of have like a firewall. At least I did, and I could see the people that I experience also have some sort of a weird firewall with this meditation concept. But if you were to name it something else that didn't have a stigma and explain it like an opportunity to, cancel out our physical connections in order to strengthen our non-physical connections, or at least make them a little bit more noticeable, or maybe we could remember some of our abilities, if there are. Maybe we could find, some hidden wisdom. Maybe we could become connected with ourselves and the world around us in a new way instead of feeling so disconnected all the time. Maybe it would become, like a cooperation of the energy in the environment and the world and the people around us, rather than always everybody and everything feeling so interfered with. Less noticeable. What's the opposite of less noticeable? Because interfered with was the previous one. It would become more noticeable. Unnoticeable is like not at all. So less noticeable is like, it's kind of not there. So maybe we would begin to see hints of it showing up in places where we just were skeptical before. And right after that was harder to see. I'm going down the list of negatives here from overstimulating the physical. So I'm trying to flip it to the opposite of like if we kind of give ourselves more of a chance to disassociate from the physical and connect to the non-physical. And so this non-physical side of us that's so disbelieved and unaccepted by practically everybody I know, and even if they say they do, it's hard to really tell if they're for sure. Most people were all like, yeah. But it's like once you start to, even for like 2 minutes, if you just sit there and like try to cancel any connection to physical things, that means everything and everybody except for the energies. So that doesn't mean all your loved ones don't exist. That means they're, little human bodies. This little physical existence doesn't exist. Their essence is what it is. So that's maybe the trick with canceling out the physical. You still have to remain full of essence, if that's even the right word. Like the feeling you get when you think of trees, you know. Like I'm looking at this tree right now while it's snowing outside. And I'm like, even if the tree wasn't there, I still have some kind of like feeling when I envision that. There is a non-physical part of my relationship with my environment. And so when we start to let go of that physical side, we become the non-physical side, the spirit, the God, the, whatever you want to call it, becomes more noticeable, becomes remembered, found, reconnected, cooperative. We start to see it, showing up in places, more noticeable. It becomes easier to see, and it becomes easier to associate with over time, easier to feel it, just instinctually, intuitively. It becomes easier to connect with this, whatever it is, this non-physical side of us. I've heard it argued back and forth. People, there is no non-physical side, and then the other guys, the great philosophers, or these, whether they be, totally fundamental religious people, or even like, Hindu, gurus, Taoist philosophers. I mean, it doesn't matter where you come from. There is always this argument between whether or not the physical and non-physical exists. And I think this is it right here. The stimulation amount. If you overstimulate and never connect with the non-physical, then it's not going to exist for you. So you have to find a way to cancel out, even if, suspend your disbelief. So like when you go into a movie theater and you're watching a movie, the whole time you're not like, this is just a movie. This is fake. None of this is happening. How can you guys be so excited? This is just a movie. You don't do that when you're in the movie theater. You suspend your disbelief for just a minute to try it out, to see what it feels like, to see if maybe it's a pretty dang cool experience when you suspend your disbelief in things for just a moment to see if there might be something interesting in it after all. So when I say try to disconnect from the physical, that's what I'm asking. Just suspend your, the want to call me a jackass, or, the want to say, man, here's just another one of those crazy dudes who's talking about the non-physical. Suspend your disbelief for just a moment and, cut off the stimulation of the physical world. That means the running mind that ties you to all the problems and all the things that you got to solve and deal with and go through, and the feeling, the judgment, not the feelings. That's a good distinction. Get rid of the judgment and accept the feelings. And then this non-physical side of us will become easier to feel, easier to connect with, easier to align with, and it will become easier for us to find our purpose, or to align with what it is that we're supposed to be doing. Because I think that's why so many of us get so lost in life. It's because, we have a purpose, but it's up to us to figure it out. So we're like, wait, that's why we're always like, what do we do? Because we know we're supposed to be doing something. And then when somebody tells us, well, you should be doing this, we say no. We're like, I don't want to listen to somebody telling me what to do. because I know it's up to me to figure it out, but what do I do? And so I think that's why so many of us feel the way we do in life. It's because we don't know what to do, but we know we need to do something. And when people try to tell us what to do, we know that's not right either. But then we want to ask for help. It's this weird paradox. I love paradoxes. Harder to feel, easier to feel. Stimulate the physical, or stimulate the non-physical. We'll leave it at that. Seek to achieve and maintain happiness through enlightenment. Seek to discover the hidden mysteries of our reality and the hidden wisdom of the ages.